Hey guys, Scott here, and welcome to another gameplay review. Today I'm looking at a pig game on Wretched Shop by username Deathwing Duck. This is taken from his Twitch as well, so it has his commentary. I asked him if he wanted to keep it in, and he said yes, and I think that's totally fine. Honestly, having insight into what he's thinking is pretty cool too, and it helps me understand the situation a bit better. So, that being said, let us start. Just check 30 seconds in to make sure this wasn't like dicks or something like that. You gotta check. All right. So, all right. So first off, perks. Good. I mean, yeah, that's a pretty good build. I see you're probably preparing for not having rune now by having corrupt intervention, which is probably what a lot of people are gonna do. So that is a pretty standard setup now that I'm probably actually gonna run on a lot of killers. Maybe not save the best for last, but these three right here are gonna be pretty central on a lot of killers, especially like Huntress. So perks seem pretty good.
Actually,
Nothing wrong with
I
them.
think I've been getting lucky with these maps.
All right. Lucky with Wretched Shop. What? This map blows. All right, so you got Corrupt Intervention. So let's see. Based on where you spawned by this loop. Okay. So if you spawned right here, they likely would have spawned here or here. So they spawned at either of these two gens. Corrupt Intervention is pretty nice on letting you know kind of where they spawn to, but when you just play maps enough, you just eventually figure out relative to where you are, where they spawn. It's not 100% guarantee, but it's always like a much more likely thing. So they're there.
I think I've been getting lucky with these maps.
And so your Whispers is not on. So crouching a bit early. Actually, was your Whispers on for a second? Wait, hold on.
Actually,
Wait, it was
I
on.
think I've been getting lucky with these maps.
Okay. So if your Whispers turn on that early, they wouldn't have spawned here. So I guess they actually spawned. They actually probably spawned here. Yeah. So that if your Whispers was on already, they're probably spawning right here. I'm just guessing. I could be completely wrong.
I think I've been getting lucky with these.
Because yeah, that's a very early Whispers turn on. Okay, so that's why you started crouching. I was about to say it doesn't make any sense to crouch before Whispers is on, but it did turn on. All right, so you're moving forward a lot. There, it turns back on. So you've got people. Okay, so already Whispers is telling me bad news. You've got people that are spread out. Usually the game spawns people together, and I think that's how it should be balance-wise. So they have to waste time spreading out. But it seems like based on this Whispers, it already spawned them spread out, which is really bad and unlucky. I don't know why that happens. Now you're kind of going back to where you spawned, which doesn't make any sense. So, yeah, this is a pretty big waste of time here. Like, you had Whispers to the left and forward, and now you kind of went back to your spawn. So, this is definitely a waste of time because they're not going to run directly into your spawn. There's also, I think, only one gen there. So, yeah, that was a pretty big chunk of waste of time.
I might be on this one.
That is what I would assume as well. All right, so you got a really nice area here. Big fat dead zone, guaranteed free hit. Okay, you want your say the best for last stack. That's why you knew the ambush.
Okay.
Fair. All right, so unfortunately, she's running towards the Wretched Shop now. And this is, one of the biggest problems with this map is this fucking building is awful. It's really, really bad to deal with if you're a killer that doesn't have like a one-shot. So she's going there. Now, there were two people on this gen, I think, right? Hold on. I'm pretty sure there were two people. I saw Steve. Yeah, okay. So Steve ran away. You get the hit, and I would not chase her, and I hope you don't, because you can definitely get a free hit on that Steve, too. Okay. That's not a Steve. That's a Dwight. Shit. Okay, yeah. Very smart. That's not a Dwight. That's Jake. Son of a bitch. They all look the same now. Okay, so you get a hit here, too.
What?
Oh, that is unfortunate.
What did I get stuck on?
Oh, wait, what happened there?
What?
Okay, so already it looks like you were trying to like mind game. Yeah, this is already. I see you got stuck, and that happens to me all the time. That's not the issue. The issue is you're trying to mind game this loop when you can see right here he's out of the loop. He would be like here right now if he was trying to use this. So you can see he's very clearly going for distance. So kind of like committing to this distance, going back, and then going left again. That doesn't really do anything. It just gives him more distance, which around this loop is awful. So you probably could have shortened the chase a lot by just continuing to chase straight after seeing that he was not actually going to loop that little tile. Because that one's not very safe, and it was smart of the survivor to not actually loop that one.
I really don't want to loop him around here this early.
No, you don't. You definitely don't want to chase people around here. The thing is, though, you've the fact that you've committed to this at this point and you have Bloodlust 1, you could get him before he gets to the next loop again. So I probably I wouldn't have committed to that point to begin with, but now that you have, I would have actually just committed to actually downing the guy. But you know, it's still a general safe bet that leaving that loop is a decent idea because it's terrible. Also, another thing, maps like Wretched Shop, Asylum, Cowshed, they are all maps basically where you have one gen done like at the start of the map. It's really stupid, but these maps have structures that are so strong that the generator inside them, you can't defend it. You just have to let it go. And by doing that, you push the game away from that gen towards the other ones that are not near that. So if you're a killer without a one shot, you can still hit them twice before they make it there. That being said, easier said than done, but I usually work to corral people away from the other gens and force them to finish the problem generators first. Again, not something you can always do, but it helps. I don't know if you did that or not, but I'm just saying that just for a normal tip. All right, we got check. Good double back. Took that a little wide. I don't think it's going to matter, though. You would still get a hit here regardless if she doesn't drop.
Period. Oh, she left that. All right.
She was going to get hit, or she was going to hit regardless no matter what. She couldn't make another loop around there. I think I just saw somebody...
Oh, I guess we're back here.
I think I saw somebody else at the shack.
Gonna get looped.
Am I crazy? I did, yeah. There's somebody right here. The thing is, though, they're not sneaking. You can tell from the speed that they're running past. So even if he went left and went to go chase that person, he wouldn't get ahead of them. They would be able to make the pallet. So the fact that this person left and gave him the hit was it was the right call to hit this person for sure. Unfortunately, that hits them directly into the Wretched Shop, which is shitty.
Oh, no, I guess we're back here.
Um,
Unlucky. They wasted.
I'm trying to think if it would be worth it to double back and get rid of Shack Pallet instead of doing this chase. Actually, you're pretty close to her. No, it wouldn't. No, yeah, this is actually fine. This is good. Yeah, okay. You cannot get stunned by this pallet. This is a an example of a pallet. One of the few pallets in the game where you almost always respect this pallet every time. Even if she keeps running straight and vaults that window, it's still better than the time spent stunned and then having to go around it. So you always respect the hell out of this pallet. You always go around these tires. Because if you get stunned by this, you've actually given them another loop, and that's bad. At this point, this makes it even worse, so you do have to kick it. But yeah, you always go around this loop. It's never, ever worth it to run straight through it. The distance lost is not worth the risk of getting stunned, so that is, that's probably the first big mistake I've seen. So far, like, there's been, like, little minor things that have not been too huge of a deal, but that was probably the first big mistake I've seen. Oh, don't you love when people just run around this shit over and over again? It's great. He doesn't make that. Nice. All right, well, it took a little while, but you got some pressure now. It's going to slow him down with a trap, which is great.
Unfortunately, they effectively wasted my time, and I didn't capitalize on corrupt intervention, so...
Well, it's not that corrupt intervention is something that you really capitalize on. It's just, it basically lets you get in chases sooner. Corrupt intervention is not really meant to delay the game. It's meant to find people because it forces them into your area, and it makes the area to search a lot smaller. So it's not exactly that you didn't delay the game with it. It's really just supposed to make you find people faster, which, I mean, you kind of did. So it a little bit did its job. But I get what you're saying, though. It's still frustrating. All right, so we got, is that 3 people or 2? I can't tell. No, that's 2 people. So there's 2 people here. It means 1 person is close. Probably going to save the guy on the hook soon. But what can you do? Okay. I was about to say, don't kick that gen, because it wouldn't make any sense to do right now. But you kind of, There was a scratch on that wall. She might have went to the, no, she is. Okay. Well, that worked out perfectly. That should be a free hit. Nice. It seems like she's just looping the shack again, which means the shack pallet should be gone on this vault. I'm sorry, this pass through, rather. I would probably respect that, too. It's pretty obvious she's going to drop it. If she doesn't, she's dead, so might as well not get stunned by that if you don't have Enduring. These loops are kind of annoying, but she's only going to get 1 loop out of this. It's going to take 5 seconds. I wonder if you could have hit that if you rounded corners better. Let me see. It seems like you're not. It seems like you're not strafing that much. Like your movement. I mean, you are strafing, but it seems like you're kind of looking like straight ahead a lot. Like she's to her right, and you're just kind of turning it like a car. I don't know. What I would do here to round the corner better is you face the wall and you kind of like you use A and W and strafe, or I'm sorry, it would be I guess D and W, and like strafe around it. It helps you round corners a bit tighter. That being said, you didn't take that like a semi truck or anything like that, so it would have improved your chances of getting a hit, but I don't think that it would have actually gotten you one. It would have been close though. You never know with dedicated servers now. Okay, also I think you just made a huge mistake there too. So by kicking that pallet on this side, you've let her get back to the Wretched Shop, which is a huge problem. So after you got done with that, you should have immediately gone to the left around this tire. She would have had to loop back to the right, and then you'd force her back into that shack pallet that you just kicked, and it's not there anymore. So by running around this instead of just kicking this, you would have forced her back into a dead zone that you just created, which would have made this chase a lot easier, I think. So that's, I think, another a big problem. Issue that you just made right there. I would moonwalk that too. Good try. Well, that worked out. The Nia waited at the corner. So the way the Nia was playing, she's playing safe but not like efficient. She could have risked going around it and predicting the moonwalk and then still looping you around it at additional time, but instead she kind of sat at the pallet instead, which means she won't loop it, but she also can't get hit. So she's just playing that safe there, which is annoying, but it gets the resources quicker too. You still got 4 gens up though, so it's not that big of a deal. Ugh, this guy right back to the shop. Oh, what a shit. He's gonna have DS, isn't he? No, you don't grab people that go in lockers like that after you've hooked them. It's just not worth it. Yeah. I hate when people rub it in like that. Oh, that's so frustrating. But it is what it is. It's in the game. If you've had somebody on the hook and you're not sure if they have DS up and they go in a locker, chances are they almost definitely do. There are very few people with the balls and brains big enough to actually fake having DS, but 9 times out of 10, they do have DS. And the Meg is still in this building, so I would have just ignored that and just went for Meg instead. Because he probably would have had, like, 10 seconds left on that. Oh, what was that, dude? You could have hit Meg. Oh, yeah, that was a terrible call. Why would you kick that gen instead of getting the free hit on Meg? Like, they're just going to undo that. First of all, you want to let this generator go to begin with. You don't even want to defend this gen. This gen is useless. But not hitting the Meg there was a huge, huge mistake. That buys you way more pressure than hitting a gen for... She's probably just going to tap it. Yeah, she just completely undid that. So you just wasted, 10 seconds there basically doing nothing. I think kicking gens, unless you have a perk for it, is kind of overrated a lot of the time. It's situational, but... Okay, good. I would not get hit by that pallet too and run around it. Again, I would kick it on the other side to force her away from the Wretched Shop. That's twice you basically kicked a pallet and let people get to the Wretched Shop because you kicked it on the wrong side. So that's definitely a big deal.
There was literally nothing I can do about it.
Definitely disagree with that. There's definitely something you could have done. Kicking it on the other side would have pushed her away from the Wretched Shop, or at least made her a lot closer to you to where she would not have made that window vault to get back into it. So definitely something you could have done there. But again, I understand the frustration of saying that in the time. I've said the exact same thing before too. And it is completely human to say shit like that. So definitely not giving you shit for it. Because I've done that so many times too. Everyone does it. It just takes a second opinion to see, things like that to where it's not a big deal. Well, this is good. This guy obviously doesn't have DS. Oh, the dead hard for distance. That sucks. Let's see. Okay. I would have swung a bit earlier. I would have swung like right here. So what happens if you swing right here? It's pretty much your only option. It's not a good option, and it's one that's in the survivor's favor. So the options for the survivor are to run to it and drop the pellet, or run to it and then keep running. If they keep running, you whiff, and that sucks, but whatever. However, in this scenario, when people dead hard for distance to pallets, they usually have a sequence in their head. They press E and then they press space. It's very rare that a survivor dead hards to a pallet and then doesn't drop the pellet. Some people will go, like really good survivors will be ballsy and try that, but it's very risky. So most people have a sequence. They press E and then they press spacebar. So because of that, I would have swung right here knowing that he's going to drop it. Basically meaning my lunge would hit him from this distance. I know this is a lunge distance right here. And I know he's going to be locked in the animation of dropping the pallet. So his distance is not going to really change much more once he gets to it. And then you were so close. Honestly, swinging that slight, like quarter of a second earlier might have gotten you that down there. I know it doesn't look like it, but with dedicated servers, I'm pretty confident you could have downed him if you swung a tiny bit earlier, but that's such a nitpick. Yeah, it feels like that. This area should be pretty dead now, though. You've kicked every pallet in this whole area, so this guy should go down no matter what. This is not the right... Okay, you're going to moonwalk it, I guess. doing it twice like that doesn't do anything. So when you do it twice like that, so this is not a bad idea because they lose line of sight of you and they start going. You moonwalk it here and that's good. But now they don't see you coming around that side and now they can kind of watch you through the window. So when you moonwalk again, it just doesn't really do anything because they can just watch you if the survivor is smart and is patient and doesn't screw up. But let's see. Oh, I guess he screwed up. It's probably a hit actually. Well, fuck me, I guess. Usually, that doesn't work if the survivor knows what they're doing, but everyone screws up occasionally.
Fortunate that I got lucky enough that the hitbox actually works to
I think that was kind of lucky too. Regardless, that's awesome. That gives you some pressure. Unfortunately, that's still that's the only guy you've hooked so far.
This map has been so fucking strong.
Honestly, I haven't noticed anything in the map that has been overtly strong. It's been a pretty standard Wretched Shop so far. I've actually seen a couple of dead zones. The problem is a lot of the chases took place around the ridiculously bullshit structure, the actual Wretched Shop. So when you have a lot of chases that take place at that annoying structure, it can make it seem like the whole map is way worse than it is because the majority of your time is being spent there. But the hell? Did someone just sub to me offline while I'm recording on OBS? Thank you, person. So it makes it seem a lot worse, but yeah, I haven't seen anything in this map that has shown it to be incredibly bad. I mean, it's definitely a survivor side of map, don't get me wrong, but it's not. I haven't seen anything incredible. Whoa, why would you kick that? Shit. Oh, no. What'd I just do? Oh, no. Oh, no. Shit, how many gens were done? Okay, here we go. Yeah, so kicking this gen right here was not a good idea. So when you have two people on a gen like this, kicking it is pointless. It's almost done. This person's going this way. We saw the Fang, I think, run to the right. Problem is, as soon as you kick that gen and start chasing one of these people, the other guy is just going to tap it. So you've just wasted time and you've wasted distance on this chase. When really, you should just accept that the gen's going to get done and you need to commit to actually downing someone at this point. Yeah, so kicking the gen here, not a good idea. It's not going to accomplish anything. As soon as you commit to a chase, someone's just going to go tap it again. So you're taking the alternative of not committing to a chase. Oh, there. Oh, that hates. Oh, God. That burns my soul, dude. But yeah, like I said, as soon as you leave, someone's just going to tap it. So kicking the gen that first time, completely useless. There was no point. In fact, kicking it this second time again, still useless. It's going to get finished. You have to accept that gen is done. Unless you've got like Pop Goes the Weasel or like Overcharge or some like gimmick like that. Gens regress 4 times as slow as they're done. It's not worth it at that point. You've lost that gen. You got to accept it and you got to commit to a chase at this point.
I lost.
At this point, I would be thinking I lost as well. There has not been enough pressure. I mean, I say there's not been enough pressure. You got to understand that doesn't necessarily mean it's the killer's fault. Well, that worked out really well for you. Doesn't necessarily mean it's the killer's fault. It just means that's what's currently happening. Gens don't get done if they're being pressured, but obviously you can't pressure everything all the time. So, but that is the current reason the game is definitely in a losing scenario right now. How far was that Fang? Hold on. I don't. She would have been about at the window right now. That pallet was gone though, and the other pallet on the other side was gone now. You probably could have downed her in about 15 to 20 seconds if you committed there, but there probably are better options now. All right, so you're starting to get away from the Wretched Shop, which is good. You definitely don't want the game to take place over there.
There's literally nothing I can do. I actually kind of want them to get that one done.
I agree.
Because then they'll 3-gen themselves.
Yep.
See? Now there's literally no reason for me to go over there.
That is true. By doing that, you've shrunk the map down a lot. Unfortunately, due to the way the gens worked out, one of the gens is still by the Wretched Shop, and you're a killer without a one-shot, so you're definitely putting yourself into a scenario that is not good. Yeah, this gen right here. This gen is going to screw you because you're a pig and you can't one-shot people, so you might get a free hit on them if you sneak up, and then they're just going to go to the Wretched Shop and run around it again. And even though there's like no pallets around it anymore, they can still vault the windows for 20, 30 seconds. So the fact that this gen is still up is a huge, huge problem and probably going to be a reason you lose. No whispers anymore. So we know there's a guy by the shack, and that's it. That means nobody's on gens right now, which is good. Oh, they're healing up instead. And another guy is getting his trap off.
It's going to be very hard to 3-gen them because all 4 of them are up, and I've only ever hooked the Jake twice.
Well, it's gonna be hard to 3-gen them because you're pig. Pig doesn't really have much. Like, you know, if you got like a huntress or a billy or a killer with a one-shot in any way, 3-genning is a lot easier because they're in a very small area and it's gonna be a dead area that you've created, and you basically down them and they're down. That's it. They have no defenses. However, if you're a killer without a one-shot, they probably can get to where defenses are, you know, across the map. And that's it's mostly because you're pig right now that you're having this issue, I think. Whispers turns back on, so we know they're probably going to go back on that gen soon. All right, we got people here. You saw somebody here. Good. I was hoping you would see that. Dropping that pallet early. By dropping that pallet early, there's not really any... I was about to say there's no mind gaming it, but she just stayed there instead of running around it. She should go down here because you've... Oh, we know she had life or something. So I was about to say, save the best for last. Should have gotten you down there, but she has a life. Either way, she's at a T-wall now, so... She's pretty screwed here, no matter what. She goes down. That's not gonna hit. Honestly, moonwalking there, I don't think made any sense because you were already close enough to hit her. Let me see. Yeah, look at that. She's like, she's right here, dude. Like, you could have just kept going and hit her. She would not have made the window, unless she had dead hard. We'll see if Pato has dead hard later. I'm probably gonna forget, but she would not have made that window otherwise. Definitely not. She didn't dead hard there, though, so I'm guessing she actually doesn't have dead hard. So, yeah, you could have saved yourself 10 seconds there just by... I think I'm talking about speedrun strats. She's saving her sprint burst. Yeah, you definitely could have saved yourself a bit of time by just chasing straight. She was not far away enough to make the window. Again, kicking that gen, pretty pointless. They're just going to go right back on it. See, like, all right, when you're at this point of the game, you have to accept that you're not going to be able to defend all your gens. You're pig... You've only gotten 2 hooks. You're not going to defend all your gens. It's just impossible. You got to start basically winning off of altruism and people on the hook now. That's the only thing you can do at this point. And this gen is awful because they just got the Wretched Shop no matter what. Getting this pallet out of the way will be good. Make it a little bit less dangerous. That's the correct call there. Again, repeatedly kicking this gen. There's no point. It's just a lot of wasted time. It's not doing anything. I guess it's getting you blood points. Fuck it. But yeah, I've noticed a problem of people definitely tend to overkick generators. It's not that good unless you have a perk dedicated to it. So kicking gens, I think, is extremely overrated.
Pretty much at this point, I'm just farming points.
Oh, well, I guess then it's not overrated. If you're just farming blood points, then sure. I still think you want to win, though. So coming over here was a bad idea because we've seen there are at least 3 people by this generator. So this gen's going to be done probably by the time you get there now. Almost. Yeah, again, repeatedly kicking this gen is doing nothing for you. You need to commit to a chase at this point. The only way you win this match is by altruism. You got 8 stacks to save the best for last. If you have somebody on a hook with 8 stacks to save the best for last, you can make some plays out of that, 100%. You've lost the gen game. You just got to accept that. It's not going to happen. You cannot defend this gen anymore. Every time you kick it, a bit of my soul leaves my body. There's just no point in defending it. You have to chase that Fang. You have to chase somebody. You have to chase the closest person you see. Even if it's around the Wretched Shop. Like, no matter what, you're losing that gen. That's just an inevitability. You have to down somebody now. That Fang you could have gotten a hit on in 10 seconds. There was no pallet on that side, so... And you've got 8 stacks to save the best for last 2. You probably could have had her down in 30. So I definitely, at this point, would have committed to the chase on Fang. There's no point defending this gen anymore. They're just going to do this over and over again until you eventually lose it, and you're not accomplishing anything. Not to mention, you're only occupying 2 people, and there's totally a guy in that other gen by the shack that you're not paying attention to. So kicking this gen over and over, not committing to any chases, is just wasting a bunch of time and you're not accomplishing anything. So this is definitely a huge issue too. Definitely, even though it's at the Wretched Shop, you've got most of the pallets around it gone. It's not going to be as bad as you think it is, especially with 8 stacks to save the best for last. So you have to commit to a chase to Fang or Nia. And yeah, kicking this gen over and over again, that other gen by the shack is going to pop eventually because I haven't seen any side on the of the 3rd or even 4th survivor. It's just been these 2 over and over again. So that gen's going to pop guaranteed. Yeah, you definitely... I know I'm a broken record here, but nothing else is happening. I just have to keep reiterating you have to commit to a chase to one of these people. They're free downs, like they don't have anything. She was at a T-wall, for God's sake. You definitely could have downed her. Again, you'd have a free hit on this Nia, too. You had a free hit on the Nia, too. You have so many free hits here. The gen is gone, man. Just hit them. Stop it, please.
There was no way that they could do all this, and not be coordinated in some fashion.
This is not necessarily survive with friends coordination. This is literally just two people seeing you going back and not committing to chases and basically toying with you. I see no survive with friends anything here. And yeah, there it goes. So the gen by the shack eventually went off because you were only occupying half the team there, and you weren't even really doing anything to occupy them. So
it just is what it is.
Still frustrating. I get it though.
Too weak. I don't think I could have done any better. This might actually be a really good one to send to Scott because
that's me. Hello.
I don't think that I could have done it any better, but I do really feel like I need a second opinion on it.
Well, that's a good attitude to have. I know, like, when you're playing the game, it's a lot harder to see your mistakes as they're happening, but it's good to at least, you know, see that another set of eyes might reveal something else. So that's a healthy attitude to have, and it's totally normal to, you know, blame the game or blame Survive with Friends or whatever while you're having a frustrating match, because it's annoying, and that's the easiest thing to do, and we've all done it, so there's no shame in that. But it's good that you have the attitude of looking that maybe something else could have been done. Trap won't do much. The door was 99, so I guess I understand why he doesn't want to hit him. Don't want to lose your stacks.
Chased him enough to where I forced him to open the gate.
But then you would have lost your stacks to say the best for last to down him. You'd be down to 4. Honestly, I would prefer 8 stacks to say the best for last here to just down people. That would have been the better call, I think. So, yeah, I think he made the right call not going for him. Now he's in a shit scenario. However, say the best for last will absolutely save him here. No one can save him without going down. If he camps here and there's altruism, which there probably will be, he 100% can down the rescuer. 100%. With 8 stacks, definitely. So right now he's looking for the third person to come save, which of course would make sense because he only sees 2 of them and he knows someone else is around. So I understand what he's doing right now. Makes sense.
I mean, you guys gotta try something.
That is true. They do have to try something. I don't know if I would have lost my stacks like that. It doesn't do anything. I would have definitely tried to hold on to my stacks. There's a save. Okay, that is a free down on Fang. Oh, no. No. Okay, so with Say the Best for Last, you 100%. Oh, if you have, you know, you had 6 stacks to Save the Best for Last. No matter what happened, you were going to down that Fang if you hit her on the hook. There's no possible way she was getting out that exit gate. And this person might have borrowed time, so trying to tunnel them off the hook, I get it. I get why you would want to do that. But chances are, if she's saving in you know, right next to this, if she's saving right next to you, chances are she's got borrowed time. So hitting this person is useless. It's not going to do anything. She's just going to run right out the gate. You have, if you didn't have Save the Best for Last, I would have said probably that's your only option. But because you have 6 stacks, you absolutely should have hit Fang instead of waited here. You would have hit her, been wiping your blades here, animation finished, and Fang would have been down. So now you've got nobody. I would have hit her too because she was about the body block. That's definitely the smart call. But yeah, that was a huge screw up. Always hit the unhooker if you've got that many stacks to Save the Best for Last. They're not going to go anywhere. Oh, the insult to injury feels bad, dude. That sucks. Yeah, so in that scenario, 100% always hit the unhooker if you've got that many stacks to Save the Best for Last because you will down them. There's no chance of you getting borrowed time. There's no chance of a DS. No matter what, it just basically gives you 2 stacks to Save the Best for Last in that scenario. And it also puts that person on the hook, which means other people have to try to come save. And now you've got 8 stacks to Save the Best for Last with people that have to come save. And that is a scary thing for the survivors. So definitely could have improved there. Decision making was not very good there. But again, I understand the mindset of wanting to tunnel people off the hook when they're right next to an exit gate and you don't have a one shot. But chances are with that person probably have borrowed time, which they did. So yeah, there was no reason to hit that person off the hook like that. It's not even that tunneling is mean. It's that tunneling was the wrong choice there. Pato did not have dead hard, so yeah, you definitely could have hit him at the window there. Jesus Christ, though. that is some shit. DS unbreakable, DS unbreakable, DS unbreakable. Holy shit. That is rough. The thing is, though, you can't really complain about any of that because they didn't use any of it on you other than that one guy's DS. So, although there were a lot of things you could have done better in this match, I don't necessarily know that you could have won it if you'd done these things better. Again, it's impossible to say because it's a snowball effect and things, you know, it's the whole butterfly effect. If you change one thing early in the match, it could snowball and make you win the game later. So there's no way to tell if you would have won because of that or not. But with the amount of shit that they have, that is some sweaty perks. Like, hot damn. I doubt I could have even won this match if I played this one. I definitely think I could have made some better decisions and maybe could have gotten a kill or maybe even two, but I don't think I would have won with Pig on Wretched Shop with that ridiculous perk setup. That's pretty gross. So that's a good example of how if you're using a relatively weak killer on a very strong map and the survivors are bringing everything they got, yeah, that's probably a scenario you're just not going to win, and that sucks. But that being said, definitely were a couple of mistakes, and I hope this was useful. That being said, I don't think you could have won this game regardless. That's just a bad situation to be in. But there are always things to improve on, and I think that's a mentality that people like you are smart for having. So thank you for the video. I hope this was educational. I hope this is helpful, and thank you for watching, guys, and see you next time.